The final villain is revealed. Amado or Akebi, they are not the true final villain. In my previous video, I did say that Amado or Akebi had great potential to be the final villain, especially Akebi, who is rumored to become a new threat when she is revived through Kawaki's karma and turns into an Otsutsuki. FYI, Akebi actually died from a mysterious, incurable disease with an unknown origin. There was no effective medicine or treatment to cure it. Amado, with his expertise in science, technology, and experimentation, decided to give Akebi a new body as an alternative rather than trying to develop a cure from scratch. However, Akebi passed away a few months later while Amado was still developing her artificial body. Even though he managed to create a clone of Akebi, Amado claimed that all of his creations were failures. Akebi's appearance is not much different from Delta, as Delta is essentially a clone of Akebi herself. However, Delta does not have Akebi's memories, and according to Ada, Akebi was just an ordinary woman with a personality different from Delta's. That's why Amado considers Delta to be a failed clone of Akebi. Because of this, Amado seeks to revive Akebi's soul through the reincarnation process using karma, after repeatedly failing to create a perfect clone of his daughter. Akebi is the reason Amado has come this far. His intention is noble, but not without consequences. What started as his original goal could backfire and create new problems if things deviate from the plan, just as Kawaki warned. If Akebi is revived using karma, there will be two possible outcomes for the shinobi to deal with. Either Akebi is resurrected perfectly as originally intended, or she is reborn as an entity that constantly threatens planets in the Boruto universe, what we know as an Otsutsuki. If Akebi's reincarnation through karma does not happen, then which option are you looking forward to, guys? Oh yeah, back to the main topic. If before I said Amado or Akebi are the final villains, I have another option, and it makes a lot of sense. None other than Code. Yeah, you heard me right. If Amado and Akebi, you have an option, if they have the potential to be the final villains, that's fine, and I wouldn't blame it. But when I say that Code is the final villain, it's not without reason. And this reason, I think, is quite very reasonable. Especially this is the part that Masashi Kishimoto chose as a reference to the Naruto universe. So before that, let me explain first. Basically, in the Naruto universe, the final villain is Kaguya, right? It's up to you if you want to consider Madara, Obito, or Black Zetsu as the final villains, because basically they are the main triggers to awaken the final villain, right? Black Zetsu took advantage of a rewritten history for his own benefit through the Uchiha, and in the end, he successfully resurrected Kaguya and made her the final villain. And basically, as a member of the Otsutsuki clan, Kaguya came to Earth to plant chakra trees and harvest chakra fruit like her race does on various planets. And of course, it was with that goal that made planet Earth a victim of the growth of the chakra tree. But Kaguya came to Earth actually not alone. She was with Otsutsuki Ishiki, who we now know if his soul has been lost after his failure to reincarnate in Kawaki's body. And this is the reason why I said Code as the last villain. Actually, I have two options between Code and also Ishiki himself, where he and Kaguya are Otsutsuki who have the goal to plant chakra trees on Earth. It's fine if you disagree with me because I said Code as the last villain. But consider this, guys. I assume Masashi used the same formula where he created the last villain after Kaguya's failure. And that next person is Ishiki. To be honest, for now, I still have no idea or vision of how Ishiki could be resurrected. Fundamentally, Code is the key factor that will determine the ultimate fate of the Otsutsuki Ishiki. Before his soul completely disappeared, he passed on a determination to Code to eat the chakra fruit and become the new Otsutsuki. And from here on, I have an assumption that Code will be the final villain. The reason I chose Code rather than Ishiki, of course, comes down to one thing: the mechanism of how Ishiki would be resurrected. If you mention Kaguya, we already clearly know through Zetsu, who took advantage of Jubidara. But regarding Ishiki, this is still a mystery. In Chapter 13, Koji sees a future path where Code will have overwhelming power that not even Kawaki himself can match, and eventually become the food of Ten Tails. You have to get rid of the thought of Code being so pathetic in the last few chapters, guys. Especially about his presence that had to lose his arm after several chapters he disappeared. We know for a fact that Code is currently in a truly miserable state, especially Sumeaka, whose original purpose was to become an army that would help him destroy Konoha and kill Kawaki and Boruto, instead ended up becoming an evolved divine tree human. Even with that evolution, The divine tree human really disrespected him and even destroyed his arm. This is an ironic situation that we can relate to Kabuto as the initial trigger where the last villain was created. But I don't fully think Code will be the same as Kabuto. Especially, this Code seems to have another way if he finally finds a solution to become an Otsutsuki without eating a chakra fruit. As we know, guys, the chakra fruit is the method the Otsutsuki use to become stronger and evolve. But I've discovered another way for Code to reach his power limit by eating Togodama. Yep, I'm serious. Even though this might sound far-fetched, think about it. What if Code eats a Togodama from one of the divine trees he's been using to reach his full potential? And once again, this might sound difficult, especially considering how Code would even obtain the Togodama from one of the divine tree humans. Just defeating them already seems hard, let alone consuming their Togodama. But yep, sometimes things that are hard for us to accept actually turn out to be unpredictable plot twists, right? Saying that this is difficult for Code to do, of course, I agree, but that only applies to the current situation. In the coming chapters, we have no idea what surprises await Code, right? So is the idea of Code eating the Togodama really that far-fetched, guys? Because just imagine, guys, an ordinary shinobi, for example, Moegi, with not so impressive abilities and strength, after the chakra manifests into Togodama and awakens into Shinju, she is so overpowered. And imagine if the Togodama of one of them is eaten by Code? So, in conclusion, considering Code as the final villain is a reference to an Otsutsuki descending to Earth. In the Naruto universe, it was Kaguya, and in the Boruto universe, it was Ishiki. But since Ishiki's soul has already disappeared, it means Code will become the final villain if he truly transforms into a new Otsutsuki, just like the Otsutsuki will that Ishiki passed on to him. So what do you think, guys? I'm waiting for your opinion. By the way, thank you to everyone who has supported this channel with likes and subs. I'm Nim. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye, Data Bio.